all out here, parents and more. It's always a pleasure to be part of this kind of events where I meet myself that I was in the other part of the chairs many years ago. The way how I would take my session today is that I will dissect it into two parts. Part one, I will speak about Zota Healthcare so that you know what it is and what is the mission that a large organization can actually have. And part two, I will speak about each one of you, the directions that ideally you should take, your ambitions and the pathway of life, the journey that you will actually embark yourself. Zota Healthcare has a very powerful brand called brand Davaindia. If some of you have heard, we have brand ambassadors like Kapil Dev, Joe Egan, so on and so forth. The only mission that I have for Davaindia is that whenever, if you just do a Googling, so whatever I talk now is all public data. You can just go to Google and find out that whether I'm making up a speech or it's well being there in the internet. For Davaindia, my only aspiration is that every single household in India should have affordable medicines, and every single household in India should afford medicines. That's a big mission that we have embarked. We are the largest private generic retail chain in the country. What does it mean? For some of you who need to understand that, today the cost of branded medicines versus good quality generic medicines, there is a huge difference. If you see countries like US, UK, parts of Europe, so on and so forth, you'll see that close to 80% or 82% of the medicine consumptions are generic medicines. And that's what our Honorable Prime Minister of India is envisaging to ensure that India too gets in a similar direction. And as I speak, we have close to around 700 odd stores all across the country been offering high quality generic medicines to the end consumers. Whilst I say, I would repeat the cards that we have in ourselves. The cards are that no Indian household in the villages, in the deep villages, should ever have to skip medicines. That's a mission that we have set for ourselves. It's just a statement that you hear. But I'm not too sure how many of you have seen true villages of India. I have seen, because I have worked extensively in those areas. A true Indian village, even today, do not have enough electricity, do not have enough water. A true Indian village, still today, do not have the desired amount of sanitation what is required. Forget about food and medicines. When you sit in an air-conditioned auditorium, you cannot really see and feel the pain that they undergo. You cannot really feel the pain that when a physician writes morning, afternoon, evening, the inpatient cannot afford that and they have to skip medications. They at times take medicines only once, assuming that okay, it may work because of the high cost of medicines. At times they break the pills and take. That's a pain. That's what we want to change. And any such kind of change does take a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of grit, lot of zeal for anyone to do it. And that's the journey that we have embarked. That's what is our idea today. I trust the reason for stating and sharing this to each one of you is that as a youngster, you must understand that it's our moral duty to ensure that we do good to the society in large. What is education if it does not come for doing the good of the society in large, for ensuring that we get ahead, step up and work for them who really needs us. Across the journey of my corporate life, I have always believed in offering true value. I repeat the word, true value. Every single word that I utter and usher out here. If as a student you are attentive, And if parents who are there, they can actually understand the passion behind that, you can understand the true importance of that work. If each one of you can add value to your education, then that degree comes towards ensuring that you give an output to the degree. It's not merely a degree that is important for life. It's that education. As Swami Vivekananda states, education is a manifestation of the perfection already in mankind. I repeat, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in mankind. If you do not get into that, if you do not understand the value of your education, then you cannot do what you are supposed to do and what the society at large needs. When each one of you come out after 3 years and then again get into your further studies and eventually get either to be an entrepreneur of yourself as alone or into a corporate life, don't forget that value is what is important. Unfortunately, when I see today's so-called senior colleagues, so-called organizations, I see that they are all running after turnovers. Trust in me, that is a very, very short-term goal. Neither any one of you can actually die in peace. If every single parent, every single teacher, every single professor can actually infuse the system of value in education, then when youngsters come out in the corporate world, they understand that yes, it is my responsibility to do something more. As all of us hire young people, when we find today's youngsters coming up in the organizations, we find a huge gap between what we were in the earlier days versus what the today's students are. Today's students, the moment they come out into the corporate world, they feel that, hey, we have this degree, we are entitled for this. It does not happen like that. Let me tell you the realities. The reality of life is you have to get up through a hard way. Each of the dignitaries who are sitting out here, they have all got up through the ranks in a hard way. Shortcut is never a solution. But unfortunately, today's generations loves to get things very, very in a shortcut way. And I do not only blame them, I also at times work with education ministries and the departments where we are working on structures that will rebuild the way education system is looked into the country. However, stating that, I would like to point out a very critical thing that I find in today's ecosystem. Coincidentally, I am also a consultant, and during the mentorship and consultation, I find that a huge issue that gets into is the digital distraction. Now, each one of you who are youngsters, I still find when I go to the universities and colleges to interact with the students that the digital distraction is the biggest distraction that today's youngsters gets into. Data and research states that at least 282 times you unlock your phone in a day. Check what is your numbers. Now, if you have to get every single time unlocking your phone and seeing what is there, what kind of messages have come, what WhatsApp have come, how many likes have you got from the Facebook, from the Insta or any other social media, where is the time for you to spend for yourself? And when I say yourself, it could be anything, right from your studies to your solitude of mind to your true self. No one has grown in this world by getting into a mode of distraction. And the moment you get into a digital distraction, you would not really understand that you're getting through and it engulfs you. And there is a phenomenon which is called digital dementia. People tend to forget today. How many of you or us really remember the telephone numbers that we used to remember 10 or 20 years ago? Most of us don't. We fall back on the contact book of our mobile telephones. And that's the reality of life. Now imagine 20 years ago, each one of us remembered multiple telephone numbers of our relatives, so on and so forth. Today we don't even remember any of the telephone numbers. Am I right or wrong? You agree with me? That's called digital dementia. More ahead is coming for each one of you. If you are not alert today, then typically what would happen is that when you go to your classes, when you sit down in your dorms, when you spend time with your friends, you will see that you are busy, using your fingers much more. I'm not getting into the clinical side of arthritis, so on and so forth, because that would be a boring lecture for me. But I'm trying to touch upon those things that will really make your life much more glorified. Unfortunately, in today's world, I find that youngsters are getting too much dragged in this entire digital environment. The parents of yours who had so much of big dreams that each one of you will shine up in the world. After 3 years, after 4 years, they wish you to see in those places. It's your responsibility to keep up with their expectations, to keep up with the expectations of the college or university where you study, to keep up with the expectations of the teachers and professors who have taken a lot of pain and hard work. Trust in me, nothing comes easy. Your professors takes a lot of pain, because when I see myself in the other part, being professor of other universities, I know I spend sleepless nights to create the notes of my students. I create sleepless nights to create the digital outcome of the lecture that I will do the next day in the college. And when you take things lightly, it doesn't look good for them. Neither it would look good for your own career and future. So in today's session of mine, can only be worth if it adds value to yourself towards changing the thought process of yours. If not, it will be one more boring lecture that you must have heard multiple times in your life and which you will hear multiple times ahead. But the key takeaways for your success would be as follows. Keep in mind, of every single word that I'm telling you now is from my personal experiences of being in the industry for pretty long, being part of scaling of multiple industries, and also standing where I stand today. One is that all of you need to learn how to wake up early. If you do not know how to wake up early and you wake up late, you have already started a sluggish day ahead. So once you know that your day should start in the desired time, you should not keep on pressing the snooze buttons. You should not sleep more. I think that's the start of your day. I'm sure many of you can exactly correlate with your lifestyle. You know that you sleep more. You know that you're lethargic. You know that you're lazy. From today onwards, even if I have changed to one student in this whole group, I have done some work that is intended for me to do. Number one, wake up early. Number two, start journaling. In my younger days, when I was in my colleges, that was the time when I started journaling. I still do it today. I still hold those old journals. I had clear aspirations that I had set for myself. Of course, I have not met all the aspirations. Some I have failed, hereby I have learned. I have also achieved in certain other places. Whatever it is, at least I have set a goal for myself. I have a very clear financial goal for you, very clear professional goal for you. At this point of time, a very clear educational and academic goal for you, and have a very, very clear chart down of your life. Break it down into small bites. If you know how to break it down into small bites, you can self-monitor yourself. You can check whether you're in the right path or wrong. In this part of life, when you are new, when you are in a scenario where you are not in direct control of your parents, you will see that multiple things will allure you. Now that is the time when you need to self-reflect and ask yourself, what is it that you want from life? I keep telling even my colleagues in my work that ask yourself, what is it that you want from life? Trust in me, people who know me, people who follow me in either of the social medias, they know that I work even today close to around 19 to 20 hours a day. And it is no joke doing it every single day. I travel consistently across the zones, across various time zones, but still I deliver what I'm supposed to deliver. It can only happen if you're disciplined. Point number two, be disciplined. If you are not disciplined, if you do not know how to track your own movements, then nothing comes up. Discipline is the core genre that each one of you as a student need to build. And number 3, have very, very high aspirations in life. If you do not have high aspirations, you would never ever think to go in the direction where you intend to. I'm not saying that all the high aspirations would come to reality. I'm saying you will be at least closer to reality. If not closer to reality, you will not have a regret that you did not have aspirations. And you will actually get into a pathway that many would and cannot go ahead with. So once you have set up very high aspirations for you, slice the aspirations down into what should you do to achieve those things that you are setting for yourself. Trust me, if you follow these 3 pieces that I've told you, it have worked good for me, it have worked good for multiple organizations where I consult, it have worked good for multiple celebs and non-celebs whom I mentioned. I'm sure it will work for you as well. But yes, you have to do it. And if you can do it, you can definitely see results. If you see results, write back to me. I will be happy to listen, hear, read and understand that you're growing. But it's your life. You need to take charge and control of yourself. Today's day marks a new beginning for your life. Today's my session, I hope, marks a beginning for your own thought process to open up. Today's session, I want to lighten you up and to set a direction for you that yes, it is possible for you. If I can do it, I'm sure you can do it as well. With this, I end my thought, but I want each one of you to introspect, reflect on whatever I have spoken. Only then it will work wonders back for you. Thank you so much. God bless you.